Hey guys, Tyler from Seller Accountant. One of the common questions we get is how should I manage, measure, drive my sales volume over time? And I want to answer that kind of common question with a couple of different thoughts here. One is it's really important as a business in any industry to be able to see how things are going right now versus how they went in the past. Now, in e-commerce, probably the two most common ways to look at your sales trajectory is to look month over month and year over year. So in other words, I want to see how am I trending? Is my brand moving in the right direction this month versus last month? But I also want to kind of acknowledge that, especially with an e-commerce brand that has a very heavy Q4 or Mother's Day or summer lean, whatever your seasonality might be, that it may actually be more important for me to look at October this year versus October last year than it is to look at October versus September, because it might just be that I'm selling Halloween costumes and things are really busy, and looking at it relative to last month doesn't matter. And so I think understanding the cycle of your business, understanding when you tend to have your Super Bowl, when's your big time of year, unless it's kind of a lot of supplement companies tend to be very evergreen, right? And maybe they get a spike at the beginning of the year. Know when you sell your units, and make sure that you have access to the reporting that helps you really see the differences, the movement in your sales volume. So again, if I'm trying to look month over month, I need to make sure that I have accrual accounting. I need to make sure that the sales that are booked in the month of September were real sales, that it didn't just happen to be a month where Amazon made 3 deposits into my account. And so I'm doing a cash basis where I look like I had a huge month because Amazon just happened to make 3 deposits because the 14 days ended up, spanning enough to have a third deposit. That's not the right way to do it. You need to make sure that you're actually booking the sales in the month that they occurred when you actually shipped the product. And so that when you're looking month over month at your performance, it makes sense. It's one month being higher than the other month actually denotes something real happening and not just a timing difference in the payments. And that's kind of the same thing year over year. Again, you want to be consistent in the way you're doing your accounting, the way you're doing your books. What I have found to be really helpful is to also employ some kind of a dashboarding tool, especially if you're Amazon centric. There are so many great tools out there that can kind of tie into those Amazon APIs and give you a little bit more real-time information about how your sales are performing now versus where they were in the past. The really popular ones right now, like Helium 10, Seller Labs, Cellix, Tika Metrics. I mean, there's 50 of them out there, right? Managed by Stats is another one that a lot of our CFO clients use. Find one where you like the UI, you're happy with it. You're probably already using the tool for something else, like a Feedback Genius, for instance, within Seller Labs. Leverage the SaaS product you're already buying to also use whatever their profitability module is to keep an eye on your volume now versus where it was a year ago or where it was last month. This is something you need to look at every day. It is something you can't afford to wait for the month to be finished because it has such a material impact on your actions that you're going to take as a business owner. And then the final thing I want to mention to you is it's important to understand your sales trajectory by, let's call it like sales channel. So we have some brands that we work with that are selling through Amazon. They have a secondary channel with Shopify, or maybe those are inverted. They might also be selling through Walmart and eBay. I really want to understand the impact of refunds. I want to understand the traction that I'm getting in each of those channels individually, because if I had an unusually large wholesale order this month, but my Amazon account tanked, it doesn't help me to ignore that the Amazon account tanked. That's my bread and butter. That might be the business that I'm really dependent on each month to make my living. And so being able to see your sales split by sales channel, the other caveat I'll add to this is some sellers are still running multiple brands through the same Seller Central account, or maybe the multiple Shopify sites through the same PayPal account. If that's the case, it's also important to make sure that you can split your sales data by brand, by key source of revenue. Because if one brand happens to be kicking butt in September, but it's burying the fact that my second brand is really struggling, then again, I might not be making great CEO decisions that are going to help drive my business forward. And I want to make sure you guys don't do that. So again, you got to make sure you can see things clearly month over month, year over year. You want to find a dashboard that gives you that real-time intelligence. There's 1,000 of them out there. Pick one that you're probably already paying for and use it. And then make sure that you can see your sales split over time by channel. And if you have multiple brands, I don't love commingling brands, but if you have them going through the same conduits, make sure you can see how each brand is performing also. And I'll leave it with that for today. Take care.